Alright, yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to this new video. If you've been following the podcast, you know that over the last few months, I've gone and decided to watch all of the James Bond films in order for the first time in my life. A few of them, a handful of them I had seen before, but for the most part, I was watching all of them for the first time. And for this video, I'm just going to be ranking all 25 films. I'm not going to include the two non-Eon productions, that being Casino Royale 1967 or Never Say Never Again from, I think that was 83. Just a little disclaimer here. Once again, this is me after watching the movies only once so far. There's a couple of them or a few of them that I've revisited since, so that kind of changed where they land. So this is just my opinion, you know, on first impressions for the most part, watching these only once for the first time. So you might not agree with all of them. There's possibly going to be some hot takes. And yeah, if it bothers you, I'm sorry. You can make your own list and send it my way, and you know, we'll see what's good. But yeah, here we go. Let's jump into it. First, I'm just going to pour myself a little bit of Old Grandad 16, just a little bit. I've been listening to the audiobook for Live and Let Die, and I noticed that Bond tends to pour himself Old Grandad quite a bit in that one. So I thought I'd step it up and go with the 16-year-old version that came out earlier this year. Oh man, classic Old Grandad aroma. That's good. The way I kind of sorted this out was there's this app called Sorta app, and somebody already made a quiz of the Bond movies, and I was really struggling with the ranking, so I used this to help me, and I did it twice, and it was mostly consistent. I think I'm going to move a couple of these around, and yeah, here we go. So number 25, I've got Quantum of Solace. So this one I had seen twice. I did watch the Daniel Craig movies for the first time the week leading up to the release of No Time to Die, back when I wasn't, you know, into all the movies. And yeah, watching it again, I remember at that point thinking it's not so bad like people were saying. I didn't like all the shaky cam stuff. But watching it again after having gone through the other films, it just felt kind of flat for me. Like, there is some good action in there. I do think the opening car chase is pretty cool. But for the most part, I felt the whole storyline was pretty weak. It could have been more interesting, you know, the whole thing about the water supply. But it starts off with this whole revenge movie for Vesper, and then just kind of changes into something different. And I'm going to try not to get too detailed on these. And yeah, the song I also don't really care for, and I can't see myself watching it again anytime soon, if I'm being completely honest. Again, not like a terrible movie by any means, but yeah, not one that I've like wanted to go revisit. So at number 24, I've got Man with the Golden Gun, which is a little bit of a bummer because I love Christopher Lee. I was excited that he was going to be a Bond villain. I remember the whole Golden Gun thing from the GoldenEye video game, and I was stoked for this one, and it just, yeah, fell kind of flat for me. Like this Bond counterpart assassin situation, I thought could have been pretty cool, but ultimately I didn't care for it. There is a great car chase sequence where we get back, what's his name, the cop, I'm forgetting his name, but where the car does like a barrel roll. I thought that was awesome. And yeah, but for the most part, I didn't really care for it. Britt Eklund is the Bond girl. Good night, just kind of useless in my opinion. And so yeah, that's number 24. Coming in at number 23, I've got Moonraker. This is a movie I was really looking forward to, and again, I felt it just went on really long. It just felt like so long to me. There are some cool moments. The opening stunt of them like fighting for the parachute, jumping out of the plane and all that stuff happening in midair. I mean, that sequence, the opening sequence, almost, that's got to be like one of the top 5 openings for sure. But the movie as a whole, I just found kind of boring. There is some stuff in it that is interesting. Hugo Drax and his whole like plan, he using his spaceships and this whole master race thing he's trying to make is what was pretty interesting and reminds me of some real shit. Like, well, I guess not real, but just makes me think of some real stuff, and I thought that was interesting. But for the most part, yeah, it just kind of bored me, if I'm being honest. So number 22, I'm going to go Spectre. I was really looking forward to this movie, seeing how in the new Daniel Craig era, how they were gonna, you know, incorporate Spectre and all that. And I thought that first meeting when Bond goes to the Spectre meeting was really cool. The lighting, I think Hoyt van Hoytema shot that one, and the lighting and just that vibe was so cool and was a good modern update. But the rest of the movie, I just didn't really care for. It's another one that I can't see myself watching again. I watched that scene again, but the rest of it, didn't really land for me. The train fight with Dave Bautista was good, but other than that, the ending I just thought was really silly. Bond just taking out this whole entire base, and then all the other kind of side plot stuff with M and MI6 and that other guy. Yeah, I don't know. I think after watching all the older films, I was expecting it to be handled in a maybe different way or a better way, and it just didn't really work for me. So number 21, I'm going to go For Your Eyes Only. Now, this is one that I really need to watch again pretty soon. I did kind of like that it went back to that more grounded, darker tone. I forget if it was after Moonraker or right before, but I think it was after Moonraker. And I did like that, and I do like, I'm forgetting her name, but the Bond girl in that movie who's on this kind of revenge quest. I like that, but at this point, I just felt a little bit bored. Just, all right, we're skiing, we got ski chases again, and this and that. The villain was kind of boring. The twist I thought was good, and I like the Columbo character, and I will say when he's got to climb the ropes up that whole rock face was kind of neat. But yeah, for the most part, it just didn't really land for me. Again, first time viewing, right? I think when I watch it again, I'll probably like it a lot more. And I do plan, maybe a year from now, I'll rank the movies again once I've seen them multiple times and have let them settle in, because I am quite the Bond fan now. So that's one I'm looking forward to seeing again. And yeah, but for now, that is going to be number 21. So number 20, this might be a hot take, probably a hot take. You guys hopefully haven't switched the video off because this hasn't come up yet. Die Another Day, the last of the Pierce Brosnan films. This was from 2001 or 2002. Yeah, the writing is really bad. The song sucks by Madonna. The CGI is atrocious and horrible and was probably dated the week after this movie came out. But I had a lot of fun with it. What can I say? It was a fun movie. It kind of brought back some tropes that almost felt like one of the old Bond films, and after kind of marathoning them all, I found that I was missing that, and I enjoyed getting back to that. So I didn't hate the movie. The CGI is really bad, and it's really unfortunate. The invisible card didn't bother me as much as it sounds like it bothers a lot of other people. It's silly for sure, but I don't hate it. And even, I think the car chase on the ice is one of the best. I think that whole sequence was super cool. The satellite laser thing was kind of fun. The villain is goofy as hell and should have been way better, but whatever. And yeah, again, all I can say is I had fun with it. It's a fun movie. It's just a popcorn movie. I'm not taking it too seriously, so it just kind of hit for me. Number 19, I've got No Time to Die. I know a lot of people would consider this the worst one, and I'm kind of surprised that when I did the whole sorta app thing that it came up as high as it did. I thought it'd be lower, but I obviously do like it a bit more than Spectre, and the Cuba sequence is really cool. I don't like the way this guy, I forget the villain's name already, but Safin, how he single-handedly gets rid of Spectre. It's just kind of odd to me. It shouldn't have been that easy. That was weird, and I just don't like the fact that, spoiler alert, they killed off Bond in the end. I just feel like it's weird for him to just give up. That just seems out of character to me. But yeah, all in all, the action in it, the cinematography, all that stuff is good. I like it for the most part. I guess for that Daniel Craig character arc, I guess perhaps that was the way to go about ending it. It is what it is, but I have that one at number 19. Number 18, The Living Daylights, the first of the, I was about to say Rick Dalton, Timothy Dalton films. This is another one that seemed like it was more grounded, and I definitely have to watch it again. I'm looking forward to seeing it again once I pick up the Blu-ray in a couple weeks. And I think for me, what went against it was the fact that it was such a, to me, drastic change from the Roger Moore era, where Roger Moore had a lot of humor in it. Connery did too, but I feel like Roger Moore played that up even more in his whole era. And we got, 7 movies with him? So to go from that to a very, grittier take on Bond, I didn't really appreciate. It was just too jarring. It was too much at once. And I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to License to Kill. But yeah, it was too much. And I feel like when I watch it again, I'll probably like it a lot more the second time through. I almost think of these movies, you watch them in order for the first time. To me, it's almost like doing a whiskey tasting where you can have a lineup of really great stuff, your favorite stuff, but the order in which you taste it can really have an impact on how you would rank the whiskeys. You know what I mean? So that's why usually when we do blind tastings and stuff, we'll take a break and we'll even go through them backwards so that like the order of it isn't kind of messing with our palate and all that. And I feel like these movies are kind of similar. So this is what I'm looking forward to seeing again at some point, and maybe it'll rank even higher. At number 17, I've got The World Is Not Enough. This is one I did see when I was a kid when it came out, and I remember really liking it at the time. And it's another one I got to watch again. I mean, I liked it for the most part. I did like the twist with Electra King. I thought that was interesting. The opening scene was really great. You know, we have the last appearance, Desmond Llewellyn as Q, and that's a great little scene. And I think they could have done more with the other villain, with Robert Carlyle's character. There was kind of a missed opportunity there. But yeah, World's Not Enough. At number 16, I've got Octopussy. So this is one I definitely got to see again. I liked it because it definitely felt very action heavy. I like the dynamic between Bond and Kamal Khan. I like Octopussy herself and how they kind of make it seem like maybe she's going to be the villain at first, and then she isn't. And there is a lot of silliness in this movie, but I don't know, it's really action heavy. I thought that was cool. The bomb stuff at the end was pretty tense, just him having to go through all these obstacles to get there. And it's somewhat negated by the fact that he has to dress as a clown. It is kind of ridiculous. But it didn't bother me enough. I know it bothers a lot more people. It didn't bother me too much, but yeah, like it didn't break the tension as much as I'm sure it has for other people. And I thought it was pretty good. So I look forward to watching that one again and seeing where it falls next time. But Octopussy at number 16. At number 15, I've got Tomorrow Never Dies. Okay, this one features Michelle Yeoh, which was awesome. Jonathan Pryce is the villain, and this was another one I saw as a kid, and I liked it for the most part. It does seem more action heavy, and you got Bond like dual wielding guns, which I feel happened because of the game GoldenEye, and it's another fun one. It's another good one. It doesn't quite live up to what GoldenEye did, but it's pretty good, and I just wish that they would have given Michelle Yeoh even more to do. We get one really great fight scene where she gets to show off her skills, but that's really it. We could have done with a lot more of her. I don't like the way she kind of gets sidelined at the end. I thought that was a little silly. But yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies. At 14, I've got On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, when I was first watching these movies, this was one where I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to watch this again before doing the ranking. So I did revisit this one, and it went up in my ranking quite a bit. I think upon first viewing, it's another one of those situations where George Lazenby like has really big shoes to fill coming after Connery, where Connery really kind of set the tone and the vibe with the character. And it's a tall order, and it doesn't help that he was heavily dubbed, and then in the movie he also has to go undercover as this other guy, and there's also, you know, that just didn't help him out. You know, he wasn't really an actor, he was like a model, so he doesn't quite have the chops that Connery had. And you know, I thought some of the fight scenes and the editing was really weird to me, even though the editor of the previous movies was the director of this one. It's still, even upon second viewing, still stood out to me. And I've heard some folks say that they thought the editing in this one was really great, so that's interesting to me, and I was really looking out for that in my second viewing, and it still just didn't work for me. I thought the editing was kind of sloppy and jumpy. But I mean, again, it went up in my ranking. It went from being probably the bottom 5 to obviously somewhere in the middle here. And I really liked it. I appreciated Diana Rigg's character more. I appreciated their relationship between Bond and Contessa. And the ending is just amazing. Even the first time I watched it, I remember telling myself, like, all right, that movie was worth it to get to the ending. It's just so emotional and impactful and just so ballsy. You just don't really see endings like that now. And, you know, I won't really spoil it for those that may not have seen it, but definitely go check it out. Give it a fair share. I'm about to read that book next. I just finished Thunderball. I'm getting through the Spectre trilogy. So I'm excited for the book because I hear the novel is really great as well. At number 13, I've got Dr. No. Again, the first Bond movie, and it, I thought, did pretty well. I liked it. I liked seeing the setup of the character and who he is, and just the seeds planted of what's going to come. I really appreciate this movie. I want to go back and watch it again really soon. I'm also going to read that novel at some point. Dr. No is a good one. If you haven't seen it, watch it and start your journey there and see where it all began. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, there's, you know, some little issues in there, but for the most part, good movie. Now, number 12, I'm going to go Diamonds Are Forever. I thought this one was going to rank a little bit higher, and I know a lot of people hate this movie, but I really liked it. I've only seen it the one time. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the fact that Connery's back. I love the opening scene with the whole kind of revenge plot of him going after Blofeld, even though they just kind of sidelined that whole story afterwards. It's really a bummer. It would have been interesting to see how things would have turned out had Connery done On Her Majesty's, and if he stuck around to this, if that would have made the filmmakers, make different choices with that character arc. But whatever, I digress. I mean, I really like this one. I think Tiffany Case is fun. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Blofeld, I thought he's all right. He's no Donald Pleasance or Telly Savalas, but I thought he was okay. Kind of goes out like a punk, but I like seeing like 1971 Vegas. I thought that was cool. And yeah, Diamonds Are Forever. I love the music too. It's one of my favorite of the Bond songs. So yeah. Next, I'm going to go with Skyfall. Clearly one of the best of the Daniel Craig era. Beautiful cinematography by Roger Deakins. Interesting storyline between him and M. And this is where I feel they brought out more of the Bond moments, like the music, and we finally meet Q and Moneypenny, and we get to Aston Martin again. And so that kind of, made me happy when I was watching these movies again. And again, one of the best songs, one of the best villains too, in Javier Bardem is Silva. But up next, I'm going to go The Spy Who Loved Me. I was fortunate enough to actually see a screening of this at the New Beverly, like a film print, just a few weeks after I saw the movie for the first time. So this was when I got to see again on the big screen with a crowd of people of all ages. It was a blast. That opening ski jump is just so great. The introduction of Agent Triple X is great. You have Jaws. I love the dynamic of Triple X and 007. And I have my issues with the way it kind of ends. I thought they undercut what could have been some really good tension. And you can listen to the podcast. I won't get into it here because I'm already making this video too long. But listen to the podcast. You can see my thoughts on it. But yeah, Spy Who Loved Me. Love the song. Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon as well. One of my all-time favorites. So yeah. So next, I'm going to go Live and Let Die. The first of the Roger Moore films. Yaphet Kotto is the villain. Great. Love Yaphet Kotto, even though they kind of, turn him out like a chump. Yeah, I mean, I just really like this one. It was interesting that it came out kind of at the height of the blaxploitation movie kind of time frame, so you can see why they chose this one and kind of the vibe. But yeah, Live and Let Die. I actually really like this one. All right, up next, I'm doing License to Kill, the second and final Timothy Dalton one. By this point, I was warmed up to him, and so when we get into this one, where it's very much a revenge movie and it's grittier and darker and like quite a bit more violent, I really like this one. I think it is possibly underappreciated. I think Timothy Dalton's underappreciated, and perhaps people should go back and watch his movies. It feels like they were trying to do with him what they did with Daniel Craig, of like, all right, let's go darker, let's go grittier, maybe more emotional. And I like it. Again, it was too much too soon in The Living Daylights, so maybe when I go back after being done with all this, I'll feel differently about it. But having that to like warm up into what was going on, this one I think played a lot better. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's quite a, now he's going up against like a cartel leader and all that, and that's interesting. And you got all this stuff with Felix. The opening is like really funny that they just kind of like bail on the wedding and like jump in a helicopter and they're going to capture this guy who happens to be nearby. But the way they take down the plane in midair is super cool. Great stunts again. Yeah, really like this one. Now up next, I've got A View to a Kill. Again, probably another hot take. It seems that a lot of people hate this one. I really enjoyed it. I loved Mayday. I loved Christopher Walken as a villain. I like that he's an absolute madman, and when he just goes crazy and is like machine gunning all his own people was wild and over the top. But the blimp thing, and I don't know, I just loved it. It is silly. Bond is obviously super old. What's her name? Tanya is kind of a whack character, but I still just like the movie. Maybe when I watch it again, I'll feel differently, but on first viewing, I just really enjoyed this one. So what can I say? All right, next I've got Casino Royale, 2006. One of the best. I mean, I'm sure most people would put this probably top 3. I'm just really in love with the older films, and I thought this was such a great way to kind of jumpstart the series again and redo it. As much as I would have liked to see the original continuity continue, if there was a way to kind of change it and update it, I mean, I think this was definitely it. They crushed it for somebody who's not into card games and poker and all that. I think they do such a good job of making the game like tense and dramatic and engaging. And, you know, Eva Green as Vesperlin is really good, and it's a banger of a movie. All right, we're in the top 5 now, and you've already probably figured out how this is going to play out. Let's see. Up next, I've got From Russia with Love. I actually just finished reading the novel. I really like that one. And I appreciate this movie more as I thought about it. I did revisit this one again recently after finishing the novel, actually. And yeah, I like it. I like, you know, we get this continuing kind of storyline with Spectre trying to get revenge on Bond for what he did to Dr. No, and, you know, all that stuff I thought was really interesting. Red Grant and everything on the train. I like Karen Bay as a kind of supporting character. And yeah, From Russia with Love, I love the theme music as well. And yeah. All right, number 4, I've got You Only Live Twice, another banger song, Nancy Sinatra. We get Donald Pleasance as Blofeld. We see him for the first time. I think that's great. The one issue I have is I kind of hate the whole part where he's got to do the Japanese makeover. It's just really dumb. Doesn't really contribute much, I feel, but whatever. I'll take it because the rest of the movie is great. The Ken Adams set, you know, Little Nelly, rocket launching cigarettes, all that stuff. I love all of that. All right, number 3, I've got Goldfinger, the 3rd movie in the series. Probably number 1 for most people. Was close to my number 1 for a while. I have to watch this one again. I really liked it. I remember when we did the podcast, I talked about how I felt this movie is where it really, now we're all in on what I thought of Bond. We have the car and the gadgets and Q, and it had all the stuff we would come to know is really comes to full force in this movie. Connery as Bond all the way. We got the great villain in Goldfinger. Pussy Galore was great. It's just a banger of a movie, and I feel it really stepped up from the first 2. You know, you get Dr. No, and then you get From Russia with Love, and they're both good, and From Russia with Love got even better. And then it's not often you see the 3rd movie just improve on everything. You know, if it was just a trilogy, then yeah, to have each movie just get better and better doesn't happen often. And I mean, I think the film was only a $3 million budget too. It was $1 million for Dr. No, I think $2 million for From Russia, $3 million for this, but you really see that it's all stepped up. Again, great Ken Adams sets as always, and a great theme song. If you only see one Bond movie, this might be the one to see. Now, number 2, and this was a tough one for me, and this is another one. I read the novel after I saw the movie. I finished it recently. I really enjoyed it. Thunderball. Yeah, let's just go. Thunderball, the 4th film in the Sean Connery era. More Spectre. We get a great villainess, you know, in Fiona Volpe. Domino's great. Largo's great. Bond, Q, all the good stuff. I like it. I know a lot of people seem, from what I've heard, don't really care for this movie. I love it. I got a poster on my wall now. Read the novel. Novel's great. Granted, the underwater stuff starts cool, but it does drag on, and it feels like they spend so much time underwater, and the fight starts off kind of cool, but then just drags. I get it. But ultimately, I don't know. This one just really left a mark on me. And I'm probably going to cover this one on the podcast again for its, it's 60th anniversary or something. I got to double check that, but I am going to cover it on the podcast again a few months from now. So we'll see if it still holds up. And at number 1, I had to do it. GoldenEye. I thought it was going to be one of the Connery films, but I just kept thinking and going back and forth and doing this whole quiz on helping me sort and rank the movies. GoldenEye came out on top, 3 times, and I just can't deny. I thought GoldenEye was just such a great way to, again, rejuvenate the series, bring new life into it. You got Pierce Brosnan, again, great Bond girls, great villains with, Famke Jensen and Alec Trevelyan, and it's just a hell of a movie from start to finish. The whole opening scene is great. Yeah, all I can do is gush about this one. And what I like about it too is, we went through the Timothy Dalton era, the Roger Moore era, and bringing in Pierce Brosnan, he kind of captured the best of all of it. He had some of the edge of Connery and some of the grit of Timothy Dalton, but still had the humor of Connery and Roger Moore, and it was such a great culmination and a good way to update it for the 90s too. Judi Dench brought in as M is great. I mean, it's a hell of a movie. As soon as I finished watching it, I was like, damn, this is a good movie. Even outside of all the Bond stuff, it just it stands on its own. I think it still holds up really well. That scene with the exploding pen and all that, brilliant moment of tension. So I guess that's it. So GoldenEye is my number one, and that's my ranking. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I didn't, talk about stuff too long. Once again, if you want to hear me go into detail about all these movies, you can listen to the Drinks in a Movie podcast. They're all on there. Most of them are on the YouTube channel, but it's on Amazon, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcast. Please check it out. And if you have any comments, let me know what your favorite movies are. If you agree, disagree. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of disagreements, but whatever. It's cool. We all have our own opinions, and that's that. And certain things resonate with certain people, and it's been a blast going and watching most of these movies for the first time and just kind of watching them in order. And I look forward to revisiting all of them in the future at different times, and again, maybe doing another ranking after I've sat with it for a while. But now I'm a Bond fanatic. I've got numerous books. I've read 3 of them already: Casino Royale, Thunderball, From Russia with Love. I'm listening to the Live and Let Die audiobook. I'm going to read On Her Majesty's pretty soon. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm a full-fledged Bond fan now, I suppose. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. What's your top 5? What's your bottom 5? And that'll be a wrap on this one, everybody. Cheers.